It's good to be in a good mood. Yo, yo, yo. It's Richard Stale Shady. Keeping it real. Keeping it real. Big time. Things are starting to work out lately. I gotta tell you. Things are gonna work out. Yesterday was, what a difference one day makes. One day really makes such a difference. Yesterday, not doom and gloom, but rotten mood. I guess doom and gloom. I'm always doom and gloom when things aren't perfect. Did you ever hear that song? Better than Ezra, something's always wrong. Well, that's my life. Something's always wrong. So, but one day makes a difference. Another day, I was slightly bummed out that this place called Pyro Creations sent me the wrong damn rocket tubes, and I was a little bummed out. But I actually spoke to the guy on the phone today, and he said he's not going to charge me because it was their mistake. It was only $20, but still $20, you know. And then and he sent me out the right tubes. So, and I just tested one of the newer tubes out. And the rocket flew perfectly. Really, no complaints. I whipped up a new batch of black powder. I put some sponge titanium in there. And the tail was gorgeous, real sparky tail. I just uploaded the video. Anybody wants to check it out. So, when my fireworks work, that puts me in a good mood. And I was slightly concerned about a bill and a money bill, and luckily that I'm going to be able to swing it, so I don't have to worry about that. Whoa, 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 what was that? Oh, it was probably a snake. Okay, the dog gets sprayed by a skunk last week, and a snake just scared the crap out of him. Now, a rattlesnake would have made a noise, so it was probably just we have these black snakes, and we also have what they call corn snakes. It just scared the crap out of my dog. So, a dangerous snake would have took off, and a rattlesnake would have made noise. So, neither of the two. Dog didn't get bit. Everything's fine. Everything's perfect. I should pay better attention, but oh well, listen. Having a good day. Not like Ozzy. Poor Ozzy. Ozzy Osbourne. What a shame. I don't think there was one person, even my grandfather, liked Ozzy. And my grandfather's been dead 70 years. Even he liked Ozzy Osbourne. All right, that's a joke. But my father liked Ozzy. And my father's been dead since 2012. And my dad loved Ozzy. So there's a real icon gone. It's a shame. That dude's kind of lucky he lived as long as he lived. I mean, that dude, he really abused his body. But, you know, God was good to him all them years. Rock star. Claim to fame. Perfect. Everything good. I'm walking past my neighbor's house. Hello. How you doing? Pretty good. How are you guys? Doing well. Good. So, Chris must have rented out because I don't recognize the person. That's a good thing because I didn't feel like talking to him anyway. He has a dog named Maze that lives here. Maze is like a black pit bull doggy. Maze always comes out to say hello to my Roni. That's Roni's girlfriend. Maze is Roni's girlfriend. Come on, son. Maze is not here today. Do 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 do. And so Ozzy's gone. But forgetting all that, I'm in a pretty darn good mood. Yesterday was kind of sucky. What a difference one day makes. One day makes such a difference, man. Yesterday I was walking around yelling at my friends for no good reason. They even noticed it. They're like, man, dude, take a chill pill. You're in such a rotten mood. And I'm like, you don't understand, man. I ordered this stuff. I waited for a week to come in the mail. It was the wrong stuff. But everything's better today. Everything's good. And same can't be said for Ozzy. That's a shame. But this is Roni, you guys. Roni the dog. Roni the cattle dog. Roni the cattle dog. There goes my phone. Private number. I don't answer private numbers. Never, ever, ever. Ever, ever, ever. If it's that important, they'll leave a message. Just leave a message. Maybe I'll call. Dun, 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 dun. Life's been good to me so far. My Maserati does 185. I lost my license, now I don't drive. So good old Joe Walsh is still alive. Ozzy, man. Crazy Train, Randy Rhoads. Well, at least Ozzy's getting to pal up with Randy again. Now Ozzy's going to find out the truth. He's going to walk up to Randy somewhere, maybe in heaven, maybe in heck. But Ozzy's going to walk up to Randy. Probably already did. Randy was probably at the pearly gates waiting for Ozzy. And said, I was trying to wake you up in the airplane, dive bombing the tour bus. And I accidentally went left when I should have went right. I clicked when I should have clacked. And we crashed the tour bus. Sorry I split the band, Ozzy. But we're back now. We're in heaven chilling. And everything's going to be cool. Maybe in the next life. Good old Randy Rhoads. So, when I was in the band, we did some Ozzy tunes. We did Crazy Train. And our guitarist could do the lead, man. He could play them Randy Rhoads leads with his eyes closed. We did Flying High Again. That was another tune our cover band did. And again, our guitarist was so damn good, he could cover them tunes. He would learn them in 5 minutes. He'd listen to the record once and be able to copy Randy's guitar style in 5 or 10 minutes. The rest of the band, it would take a whole day to learn the song. But he was good, that guy. Never went anywhere. You gotta be a songwriter. You just can't go around doing cover tunes and expect to make it. So, I'm in a good mood, man. I'm gonna be able to afford my taxes. I just got my school tax. I'm sure everybody did. I'm not the only one. If you live in Pennsylvania, all you guys just got your school taxes. And that's the big one. The municipal taxes, that's the small one. If you could call $700, $800 small. But that comes in February. And the school taxes comes in mid-July. And guess what? It's mid-July. I knew it was coming. And I tried to prepare. I prepared. a little bit. So I'll handle that. You got to. You have to. That's the only thing you have to do. You got to die and you got to pay taxes. So, or they come and they take your house away. So those are the things you got to do. My car, I got to change the brakes on my car. But you want to hear something cool? I'm such a good driver that, first of all, there's no traffic lights where I live. So I don't have to hit my brakes. As long as nobody's following me, I coast up to a stop sign. I don't even have to hit my brakes. I coast into my driveway. I don't hit the brakes. So the point is, the car's got 66,000 miles, and I still have the original brakes. And they're probably good for another year. When I go to get it inspected, them brakes are going to be good for another year. So, them Ford Focuses are good cars, man. Anybody's going to go out and get a car, get a Ford Focus. They're good cars. This way, son. I'm living testimony. They get great gas mileage, a Ford Focus. Really good gas mileage. And they last forever, man. Oh, you just change the oil. They can have this oil nowadays. Well, you used to have to change your oil every 3,000 miles. Well, the oil they have nowadays, they claim 10,000, but I don't know if I trust that. So I change my oil every 5,000. As long as you change your oil, man, your car will last. Take care of it. It should last forever, man. Mine's a 2017, and knock on wood, that car still runs like the day I drove it off the showroom floor. Doesn't look like I drove it. I backed it up into a telephone pole. I never had any accidents besides I always screw things backing up. Maybe it's because I'm too lazy to turn around and look proper. But a couple of my stupid little accidents were backing up. Stupid little things. Nobody ever got hurt or anything. But fouled the car up, backing it up. But I love that Ford Focus, man. Those are good cars. And I'm telling you, you're thinking about getting a car, get a Ford Focus. So here's Roni. Roni's in a good mood. When I'm in a good mood, it rubs off on the dog. Roni the dog. Roni the dog. I just check this. I was watching his history. That's it. And they were talking about explosives. Thank you for the like, you guys. I just got another like. Thank you. I'm watching history. Modern Marvels. That's what it was. Modern Marvels. I love that show. And they were talking about explosives. And I love explosives. I'm a pyrotechnician. I make my own fireworks. Of course I love explosives. So I was glued to the show. And I'm watching this real cool reaction that you can do. It's a reaction. You mix ammonium nitrate, plain old table salt, and zinc powder. Metal, zinc. You mix them three chemicals and you add a drop of water, and like 10 seconds later, the whole thing bursts into flames. And it leaves like a really cool flame, like a blue flame. I'm going to upload a short of that. I don't know why I didn't do it yet. And I'm really surprised I didn't know that already, me being a pyrotechnician. I should have known that. But I was watching Modern Marvels, and that was one of the demonstrations. Ammonium nitrate, that's just a fertilizer. That's what people buy that in huge quantities. It's relatively cheap. You can get like 55-gallon drums of ammonium nitrate. Probably for like $100, but you probably have to buy a ton. And 55-gallon drums of and that's what people do to fertilize their farms and stuff. Ammonium nitrate is a really good fertilizer. but it happens to be a really good oxidizer. And it's used a lot in fireworks. As a matter of fact, ammonium nitrate is one of the chemicals in the space shuttle and all them rocket ships. When they talk about solid rocket boosters, ammonium nitrate is one of the oxidizers that they use for rocket ships. That dude who blew up the federal building, what was his name again? He got lethal injection. Who the hell? Timothy McVeigh. He bought like a truck full of ammonium nitrate, and they sold it to him as a fertilizer. He filled the truck up and he blew up the federal building. Unfortunately, he killed a lot of people. I mean, that's horrible. But that's amazing how just a fertilizer could be such a powerful explosive. I think that's pretty fascinating. Ammonium nitrate. It's considered a really strong oxidizer. And an oxidizer is exactly how it sounds. It provides oxygen to whatever you're igniting. So, and me being a pyrotechnician, I have ammonium nitrate, I have zinc powder, and everybody has table salt. So it's like 7 parts ammonium nitrate, 7 parts zinc powder, 1 part table salt, and then a couple drops of water, and boom, you got an awesome reaction. I'm going to upload that to show you guys. So, what else is going on? Nothing really. Not a whole lot. Nobody wants to chat today, huh? None of my subscribers are out. I don't blame you. You should be out enjoying this beautiful day, especially where I live on the East Coast. It's a really nice day out here on the East Coast. The humidity's down, the temperatures are down. I had to close my window last night. It got so cold. You're not going to be able to say that for the center of the country next couple days. Them poor suckers, man. They're in for the heat wave. Probably already started, but they're really in for a big heat wave. Texas is supposed to go up to 110 by Wednesday and tomorrow and Thursday. You live in Texas, baby. You better have good air conditioning. When we were little kids, man, we used to just play under the garden hose. That's how we cooled off. We didn't have air conditioning. Well, we did, but only certain people had it, not everybody. So we would just play with the garden hose, run the garden hose all day. That's how we kept cool. Just staying under the garden hose, man. That was fun. As a young person playing with the garden hose. And we would have water balloon fights. Did you ever have water balloon fights? That's fun, man. Fill up a bunch of water balloons and everybody, you give them like 5 minutes to go hide. And then you got to go seek your friend out and you find him and you nail him with the water balloons. That's fun. So what's the dog doing here, man? Sniffy sniff. This dog, man, he sniffs every little thing. Every little thing. So I wonder how good my last upload. I can't check it because I'm live streaming. But I just uploaded a real cool rocket video, man. That sucker flew higher than all hell. And I had the wrong size tubes yesterday, and all 3 of my rockets blew up. Catastrophe upon takeoff. CATO, C-A-T-O, an acronym that pyrotechnicians know. They say, my rocket CATO'd. That means it blew up on the launching pad. Catastrophe upon takeoff. What are you sniffing, mister? You're getting me mad. What is so important, son? You just gotta sniff it out. You know? What is it? Look, he's gotta dig his nose. He's gotta lick it, and he's gotta do these little Ooh, I want to curse at him. Look, he's pointing. Now he's pointing with his paw. What is so important, Roni? That's his name, Roni. Roni. Like macaroni, rice-a-roni. Rice-a-roni. The San Francisco treat. Let's get a close-up and see what the hell he wants. Look, he's got to get his nose in there. He licks it. Probably gives him a slightly better smell. Look, he lick it. He's going to start drooling soon. I know my dog. And his ears don't go up like that. So he's kind of happy right now. His ears are always floppy. So whatever he's sniffing right there is really got him happy. Look, he's like licking his lips. All right, come on. You don't eat the garbage, son. Please, mister, please. Son. Your father's talking to you, mister. Roni. Yes, you. You, Roni, you. He likes to look out my bedroom window, and sometimes I forget and I leave the curtain down, and he uses his snoot to move the curtain, but he's such an uncoordinated dog that he bangs his head on the half-closed window. And he bangs it pretty hard. I hear it. I feel the wall vibrate. So I was checking his head the other day, and he actually has lumps on his head from banging it. So I got to remember to move the curtain out of the way so we could look out the back window. And right out the back window is the steps from the basement leading out to the backyard. And there's like a little roof there. But that roof, man, you can't walk on that. You shouldn't walk on that roof. The damn dog is out on that little cove thing, the basement steps leading out to the backyard. And he's standing on that little roof thing. This dog's killing me, man. He's killing me, this one. Last week, he gets sprayed by a skunk. A half hour ago, a snake just freaked him out. He looks for trouble. What's he looking for now? You tell me. I don't know. Somebody told me he's just flipping the channels. That's how dogs... You know how we flip the channels with our remote? Well, every time he sniffs a little sniff off the ground, it's like changing the channel in dog world. Maybe he's looking for a spot to lay a bomb. I got bags. I always clean up after my dog. Even though I'm in the middle of the woods and nobody really lives around here, I still clean up. I feel compelled. I straighten up the lake, clean up all that stuff down there. And then when I'm walking through the park and I see like bird mess and I got the urge to clean it up. I know it's sick, isn't it? And I don't do it, but it's weird. It's like, oh, well, since I clean up my house and around my lake, even if I'm out in like some park, I feel compelled to clean it up. But I don't. I'm not that crazy. Pretty crazy, but not that crazy. So, nobody wants to chat. Ask me anything. Ask me anything. I'll give you some advice. I'll play doctor. I'll play psychiatrist. And you guys can play patient. Tell me your problems. I'll give you the worst possible advice. You'll wind up getting divorced. Homeland Security will come banging on your door. And you could blame it on Richard, Stale Shady. Say, man, some dude, I asked him for some advice. Some dude I watch live streaming. And this is what he told me to do. So now the FBI's at my front door. Did I ever tell you the story? Here's a good story for you. I got a great story. When I first started making fireworks, I didn't have my rockets dialed in so good. And a lot of them kind of failed. And this is when I lived at my parents' house. And I was shooting rockets off in their backyard. This is in Philadelphia. and somebody must have called the police because I was making too much noise. Back then, fireworks weren't legal in Pennsylvania. They're legal now, but back then they weren't. And somebody must have called the police, and the police car was going through the back driveways looking for probably me, so the perpetrator, the guy making all this noise. And I didn't even know the police car was there. And I lit off a rocket that had a good header on it. It had a good loud bang on it. My hope was that the rocket would have went up a few 100 feet in the air and exploded in the air like it was supposed to, but it didn't. This is a true story. This is a true story. And the rocket went up and it came down and it blew up only like 10 feet from the police car. Scared the crap out of that poor police officer. So now he's mad. Now he really wants to find the asshole lighting off the fireworks, which was me. Sorry for cursing, but I'm trying to put you in the cop's shoes. So now he's really looking for this numbnut, the knucklehead, this guy, this person lighting off the fireworks, because now this rocket blew up right next to his police car. And now he's really looking hard through the driveways. And I had a few ball mills running. I was making black powder in my parents' garage. And the police officer was smart enough to know what them ball mills were. And he stopped right at my parents' house, and I was standing out back there with like another rocket in my hand, ready to light this off. He hopped out of that car. He was so mad. He was cursing at me. And I said, "Officer, what? You know, I shot off rockets. I'm sorry. I won't do it no more." He was F this and F that. One of your rockets blew off right next to my car, scared the daylights out of me, yelling at me. And then he saw the ball mills running. He goes, "I want to look in your house." And I didn't want to let a police officer in my house. And I just don't. You know, you're inviting trouble when you do that. And I told him no at first. And he goes, "I know what you're doing with them ball mills." He goes, "I want to look in your house, or the bomb squad's coming. I'm going to radio the bomb squad. This is a true story. And you're going to be on tonight's news, and your house is going to have people with hazmat suits walking around." I said, all right. I let him in my basement, and he's looking in my basement, and I have a lot of my finished work in there. I have all my mortar tubes and some of my ground fireworks. And after all that, he turned out to be a cool dude. He's looking at my mortar tubes. He knew what sizes they were. He's like, "What's this, 3-inch?" I'm like, "Yeah, 3-inch." He goes, "You make all this stuff yourself?" I'm like, "Yes, officer." He goes, "Man, you got to be careful. You scared the daylights out of me. That rocket came down and blew up right next to my car." He goes, "Listen, just chill out, dude. I don't want to come back to the house. If I have to come back to your house, there's going to be hell to pay." I was like, "Yes, officer, yes." And my friend was, "Hi there." And my friend was sleeping on the couch in the basement the whole time this is going on. And he's looking at my friend, and he goes, "Your friend slept through that loud explosion?" I'm like, "Yeah, I think he was like kind of tired, and he was drinking last night. He's working off a hangover." But after all that, and I swear this is a true story. If you guys watch my channel, you know that I don't exaggerate. All my stuff's true. But he's like, "If you don't let me in your basement, I'm calling the bomb squad, and you're going to be on the 6 o'clock news with guys walking around the house of hazmat suits." True story. And after all that, he wound up being a cool Philadelphia police officer and totally let me off the hook. So, that's interesting, ain't it? Don't you think that's a cool story? I thought it was a cool story. So, and that was years ago. And now I'm getting good at my fireworking. I'm getting much better at it. Been doing it for years and years and years. Rockets are my favorite too. I decided I wasn't going to do the big rockets anymore because I live in like a retirement community. And a bunch of old folks, they don't want to hear fireworks going off. And my dog hates loud noises too. But I decided that, what the heck, man? I'm going to resurrect it. I'm going to start my hobby up again. And no, Ronnie, come on. I'm going to show the people my shop. All right, I'm going to let him go. I'm at my house, but I'm just going to let him go. I'm going to show you my shop real quick. Come here, mister. Come here. Come here. So, okay. I'm going to show you my shop real quick. So you know I'm just not making all this up. My subscribers know that I always say the truth. Look, I like to do whitewater kayaking. Right? That's the doghouse. So, there's my canoe. Live right by a lake. That's where I was just walking. There's the lake back there. I don't know if you can see it or not. So, this is my shop, man. This is where I make all my fireworks. This is where Stale Shady does his thing. These are the tubes I just got. They're great rocket tubes, man. They're freaking great. Here's some rocket fuel I just made. That's great rocket fuel. That's black powder mixed with a little bit of titanium sponge. Here's some more goodies. All some of my goodies, right? I told you, man. I'm not kidding, dude. I love fireworks. I live, eat, breathe, sleep, fireworks. Love it. Potassium nitrate, KNO3. That's a mixture for a ground firework. There's how to make tourbillons, talking about rocket stability. Got all my chemicals in alphabetical order, right from ammonium nitrate, aluminum, B, C, calcium carbonate, copper. We're around the C's now. Now we're up to D, dextrin. Now we're up to R, red gum, P, PVC, R, back to R, S, strontium nitrate, silicone, right to Z, baby. Zirconium, that's another type of metal. That's expensive stuff, but that leaves a really cool tail on the rockets. There's my press where I press my whistle rockets. That's a 4-inch mortar. That's a 6-inch mortar tube. There's some of my rocket tooling. I got tons of rocket tooling. Oh, I got it all, baby. So, all right, enough of the boring. I wish Bush Get It would get online because I would tell him that I'm making my favorite dinner tonight. But he's the only one that likes that. If he happens to pop on. In case you're watching, Bust, and you're not popping online, Stale Shady's making his favorite dinner. Shake and bake pork chops. Yum, yum. Turn them over in the toaster oven. I whack them. I beat them with a hammer. I tenderize it. Like I have a wooden mallet. And I stick them in a pretty good plastic bag, and I whack the crap out of them. So when it's time to munch out, man, they're great. They just fall apart, man. It's like pulled pork. I cut my lawn. You see, I mowed the lawn. I procrastinated for the longest time. But I finally cut the grass last week. Probably going to have to be the last time I cut it this year. Maybe one more time toward the end of August. See the difference? You can see where I trash picked that sucker, man. All it needed was a spark plug and a fuel filter. I got it running. All right, I'm boring you guys to death. So anyways, I'll live stream a little bit later. Yo, 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 poor Ozzy. In case you don't know, Ozzy's in heaven with Randy Rhoads. Poor Ozzy Osbourne. At least him and Randy are back together. All right, Richard's going to go. Richard's going to say goodbye. Thank you for the likes. Love you guys. I'll talk to you soon. Live